What up, chuds? I'm Jimmy Cobson, and this is my third ever YouTube video. Tonight we're going to be doing the Senate, and this could be, at least that I've seen, the first post-Biden dropout Senate prediction. So if you want to get something, a fresh opinion, live out of what's been going on recently, with the whole campaign, you came to the right place. I'm Cobson, and this is my map. Because this is a bit of an unconventional thing, allow me to show you my 5-color margins. So we got solid, safe, likely, lean, and tilt. Now, for both safe and solid, these are like virtually guaranteed. But I want to show but I decided to go with a 5-color gradient because I felt as though it would better show us the diversity of our states and allow us to really see which states are more competitive than others. As I said in the last video, Wyoming and Texas both being technically safe, it doesn't really show us the nuance of the various states in this country. Because even though two states could be, technically safe, one can be far more conservative, far more liberal than the other. And as real, it kind of it paints a not as clear, not as accurate a picture as I would like. Starting with the Northeast, we got Maine. I'm going to rate this seat as likely. Actually, I think it's going to be slightly under 10 points. Now, even though in my presidential prediction I had something that I think is probably going to be seen as rather controversial with the state, I don't think that this prediction is nearly as controversial. I think it's going to be slightly under 10 because the main GOP just doesn't have a candidate. And Angus King he's a strong incumbent. Looks like he's running again. It sucks because this is a very winnable state for us. And maybe sometime down the road we'll be able to flip this seat. Next up is Vermont. Like hell, Sanders is going to lose. He is a god to the people here, and I can kind of see it, really. He's got a certain vibe to him that, even though I disagree with him on a lot of issues, I can somewhat respect how he markets himself. Next up is Massachusetts. This is going to be another solid Democrat seat. I would have moved it to likely if Baker decided to run, but he ain't a team player for obvious reasons. This is going to be a solid Democrat seat. Same with Rhode Island. I believe Sheldon Whitehouse is running. He's kind of mediocre, but it's a generic liberal state. Unfortunately, we ain't gonna do too high here. And same with Connecticut. I don't know why Chris Murphy is so popular, to be honest, but he is, and he's probably gonna hold on unless I made a huge mistake and this is actually Blumenthal's seat. So I hope I was right. Anyway, going to New York. I think with the state itself trending slightly towards the right, I'm going to actually make this as safe but not solid Democrat. I think that Gillibrand is going to slightly overperform Kamala just because we don't really have a candidate for the Senate race. But overall, I do think that this is still going back in the hands of the Democrats. Next up with the safe, solid, and I guess this is the one likely state I wanted to just bring out, Democrat states, is Delaware. Lisa Blunt Rochester is she's not a strong candidate, but she's not a weak candidate. She's kind of like Bread, inoffensive, doesn't really alienate or push anyone, but no one's exactly begging for her to be there in the Senate. And given that she's got a D next to her name, of course she's gonna pick this off. Well, not really pick it off, but retain the seat for her party. And that's it for the ones on the East Coast. I'm gonna go over here to Minnesota. This is another state that I had razor thin on the presidential level, and I'm thinking the club just barely wins it by 10. She has this folksy Midwestern persona that, while contrary to who she is in real life, is certainly very appealing to a lot of folks out there, especially the ones who don't really pay attention to politics. They just see her as this nice, oh, she's a moderate and all that jazz. It is what it is, but yeah, we ain't taking down the club. Up next is Washington. Since we don't really have a candidate for this race, I'm rating it as solid Democrat. And Cali, I'm rating as safe. And I know this might come as a shock to y'all, but the reason why is we have an exceptionally strong candidate in Steve Garvey, and we're running against a very polarizing candidate in Adam Schiff. Now, Schiff is still going to win this state maybe by like 12, 13 points, but he's going to probably underperform Kamala, who herself is a big underperformer. And yeah, that's it for the safe and likely Democrat state in Maine. A bit of an oversight on my end. Oh well. Let's do the Republican states now. Mississippi, Tennessee, Indiana, West Virginia. All these, they're coming home. Missouri, I know Kuntz is trying his ass off, just trying his best to win this race. He ain't gonna do it. All right, Lucas Kuntz's strategy, you guys, is just copying Josh Hawley's economic populism and then trying to downplay his social issues and then tying Hawley to Trump in a very pro-Trump state. He's running a god-awful campaign. He ain't gonna beat Hawley. Maybe if he was running against Roy Blunt, he might have a serious shot, but nah, this ain't happening. Up next are both of the Nebraska seats. Neither Fisher nor Ricketts are losing. We really should have some more conservative people representing Nebraska, but it sucks. But what you gonna do? Same with North Dakota, Wyoming, and Utah. All three of these states are going in our direction. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I'm also going to rate Texas and Florida as safe Republican states. I think Cruz wins by around 11 and Rick Scott by around 10. Allred is a literal black nationalist, so, who the hell would vote for him? And Florida is just moving so quickly in our direction that we got it on lock. Oh, and by the way, I forgot about Hawaii. Yeah, this is going to be a safe Democrat state. I think it's going to move to the right because one, Mazie Hirono is not particularly popular, and also there's a lot of anger at the Biden administration in general because of how he handled the wildfires, and I think Donald Trump's going to be able to maybe carry some independent voters. He had a vote straight ticket. All right, so this is all of our safe states and Maine. I know I made that oversight, but oh well. Next up is what's a good state to? Let's do Maryland, my home state. This is a likely Democrat state. So Angela Alsobrooks, she's from PG County, which is, I believe it's this one right here, because I know this one's Montgomery, this one's Frederick. All right, whatever. Alsobrooks is she's mid, but just given the state's partisan lean and Hogan just deciding to actively piss off Trump, I'm going to leave this state as likely D. I think Hogan still has an outside chance, contrary to what a lot of others think. But ultimately, I think the state goes home to Alsobrooks. Sucks because, as a Marylander, from birth, it would be nice to see my state vote red, but it is what it is. Up next with likely Democrat states. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the last likely Democrat state. For our likely Republican states, I got Ohio. Moreno is a strong candidate. He's campaigning close to Trump, and It's Ohio, right? How many ticket splitters are really going to vote for Trump and then vote for Sherrod Brown? Maybe a good amount because Brown's personally very popular here, but other than that, don't really see it. Next up is Montana. I'm going to leave it as likely are, borderline safe. Reason why I don't have it safe is just because John Tester is a huge overperformer, and if Shahi keeps running this kind of neocon candidacy, we could see an upset. Still, though, as of right now, I think it's fair to say that Tester is in fact done. For the rest of these states, these are all of our competitive states. And yes, that is correct. I'm leaving New Jersey out here because I don't know if you guys know about this, but Bob Menendez was just recently convicted. And as a result, he's taken the New Jersey Dems down with him. This is going to be a fascinating one to talk about. I'll get to it very soon. Up next are the lean Democrat states, and I only got two of them. Well, yeah, just two of them. New Mexico, I think is a lean Democrat state, borderline tilt. I think Heinrich wins it by like slightly over 1%. Nella Dominici is she's got her last name's an institution. She is the daughter of the state's longtime senator Pete Dominici, and I see her, having that name recognition factor. The thing is that the campaign for this race hasn't particularly heated up, and even though Martin Heinrich is an underperformer with already terrible uh, head of the ticket, I still think he narrowly holds on by the skin of his teeth with like 1.3% of the vote, 1.3% margin. Still, it remains to be seen what actually happens. Maybe as the race keeps going, Heinrich, has a scandal or something, and Dominici barely picks up. But as of right now, this is a lean, borderline tilt Democrat state. And yeah, this is it for now. For the lean Democrat. Actually, no. Forgot about Pennsylvania. I'm making this state a lean Democrat state just because Bob Casey, he ain't his father, but he still has that name recognition. As a result, he's an overperformer himself too. He overperformed Obama. He did great in 2018, even though and in 2018 he ran against a really strong candidate too. Yeah, he is not going down unless Trump wins the state by like 8. Because David McCormick, the stuff the man said, he says stuff like, "Oh, I don't care if stuff's manufactured in this country." Yeah, try getting the folks in coal country or steel country over here to get behind someone who don't even care if stuff's manufactured here. Yeah, this is it's probably going to be Casey's closest race in his career yet. I know that ain't really saying much, but it is. It's going to be quite the race to watch out for. Up next is up next is New Jersey. I got this as lean, borderline tilt Democrat as well. With Bob Menendez announcing his candidacy under the Menendez for Senate party, he's running basically as an independent. We've got a good amount of Democrat vote split. Now, if Trump continues to run up the margins in Pennsylvania and does maybe even a few rallies in New Jersey, plus we have a solid campaign from our nominee there, I could see this getting even more competitive. Yeah, this is a sleeper flip for the GOP, just like New Mexico. But yeah, as of right now, I still have Andy Kim favored, though by a pretty narrow margin. Following New Jersey is Virginia. I think this is going to be tilt Democrat. I think Tim Kaine very slightly overperforms and as a result, he keeps his career. Kane is not the popular governor he once was under the Bush administration, and it really shows. He's taken a lot more left wing positions on social issues, and as a result, he's alienated a lot of the state's previously swingy rural population. Now, is this enough for him to hold on? I think so for right now. But if Hung Kao really hits Kane where it hurts, talks about how Kane is a do nothing senator, he's a partisan Democrat, and tie him to the very unpopular Joe Biden, I think that we could see a nice upset here. But as of right now, I got Virginia as tilt Democrat, maybe like 0.7 or so. Up next is Arizona. I think Carrie Lake just barely holds on. She gets like 1.4% of the vote. The thing is, though, I understand the polls ain't looking too good right now. But with Trump's lead in Arizona, I just don't see how Lake doesn't win. Ruben Gallego is a far left progressive who does not really galvanize any of the McCain Republicans, who might just leave the Senate race blank. As a result, I think Arizona is going to be lean Republican. It's not exactly a confident prediction of mine yet, but I do think that as of right now, Lake is slightly favored. Next, we got Nevada. I got the state going to Trump by 10 points because of the polling stuff. So I think maybe 7 points of vote splitting will occur. As a result, Rosen loses by about 3 to Sam Brown. Even though Sam Brown, he ain't exactly a strong candidate himself. He says a lot of silly things, but hey, it's looking like we're gonna hold on to the seat just because of how there's too much polarization for there to be any more than like 7 or even 8 points of vote split in the state, and as a result, I think Rosen is done. And then we got probably the 2 spiciest races in this cycle. Those are Wisconsin and Michigan. Start with the spicy one. That's Wisconsin. I think this is going to be a lean Republican state. Baldwin appears asleep at the wheel, and we've got an excellent recruit in Eric Hovde. I think as a result, with Hovde's ability to self-finance and he's just a really entertaining guy. You should see some of his speeches. He will win Wisconsin by maybe about 2 points. Somewhat underperforming Trump, maybe by like 1 point or so. Baldwin, I got a feeling she ain't as popular as she's cracked up to be. And if Donald Trump's gonna do really good against Kamala, I doubt that her weight will collapse in a lot of Democrat campaigns. And finally, we got the Michigan Senate race. I got this as tilt R. I get that Elisa Slotkin is a candidate running, and she has some appeal to the suburbanites who might vote for Trump, might not. But Mike Rogers, to his credit, is running an excellent campaign. And I think that even though I got the state as likely are on the presidential level, I think that Trump's able to get enough folks to vote straight ticket R that we can deny Slotkin this seat. Yeah, this ain't even talking about the Muslims here who, if you don't already know, Slotkin's a Jew, and if Israel is a big issue for a lot of the far left voters here. And so there could be some left wing anti Semitism that seeps into the campaign and might actually deliver us our first Senate victory in Michigan since 1994. So this is what I got as the map so far. Everything here is subject to change. I think that I'm of all the states that I'm willing to be wrong on, that I think, okay, I'm probably not gonna get right, or that I would not be surprised if I got wrong. It would be New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Virginia. All all 8 of these states could go one way or the other. But I do think that regardless, the GOP grabs the Senate just because of the flips in Ohio and Montana. Still, we got a lot of surprises to look up into, and I'm very excited to vote in this election. As always, please be civil in the comment section, and I would strongly appreciate it if you guys gave this video a like, hit that subscribe button. You know, you got to start from somewhere, and I would love to turn YouTube into a full-time career. Thank you very much, and peace out.